In recent times, global attention has focused on the United States, where events of great significance are taking place. These are not only significant changes in the social and political fabric of the country, but also a series of alarming disasters that have deeply shaken both the American people and the entire world. Some wonder, could these catastrophic events be a warning sign linked to the rise of the Antichrist? News from the United States attracts global attention not only for recent developments, but also for their historical weight and the role the country has always played on the global stage. However, there is one biblical prophecy that many have overlooked, a prophecy that could come true under certain conditions. Even those who do not follow religious beliefs recognize that, under particular circumstances, transformative events of global significance can occur. Let's delve deeper into these disturbing predictions and analyze the prophetic signs that may indicate what awaits America in the near future. One of the earliest omens regarding the fate of the United States is rooted in the texts of Ezekiel, Daniel, and Revelation. These writings strongly suggest that America's global dominance will wane as the world approaches the end times. The prophecy contained in Daniel, particularly in the so-called seventh week, Daniel 9:24-27, describes a prophetic timeline regarding Israel and Jerusalem. As the final week approaches, the text refers to the rise of the Antichrist, while the United States is notably absent from these end-time events. Scholars who have analyzed these prophecies suggest that America's decline on the world stage may be inevitable, precisely because the country is not mentioned explicitly or symbolically in major apocalyptic narratives, unlike nations such as Russia and Turkey. Given America's historical global dominance, its exclusion from these prophetic narratives is particularly significant, especially now as the world appears to be approaching the foretold tribulation period. Another element concerns the formation of a new global power structure in which 10 nations will unite to consolidate their authority until they will finally hand over control to the Antichrist. Revelation 17:12 states, "The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings, who have not yet received a kingdom, but receive authority as kings, 1 hour with the beast." This vision suggests the emergence of a powerful alliance of 10 nations that will rule before handing over their power to the Antichrist. Interestingly, while many have assumed that the United States may play a role in this coalition, deeper scriptural analysis suggests otherwise. These 10 nations appear to come from regions that were once part of the ancient Roman Empire, including parts of the Middle East, North Africa, and Europe, while America, due to its more recent history, appears excluded from this apocalyptic scenario. Another ominous prophecy concerns the collapse of the world financial order. The scriptures suggest that the current economic system, characterized by the dominance of the US dollar, will have to collapse to make way for a new global currency, ruled by the Antichrist and symbolized by the infamous Mark of the Beast, 666. This implies not only the decline of the United States as a financial superpower, but also the radical transformation of the world economy. For those who see the United States as a country founded on biblical values, this prediction is particularly shocking. Internal decline, due to the erosion of moral and spiritual values, will be the main cause of the country's downfall, just as happened in the past to empires that deviated from their fundamental principles. In addition to economic and geopolitical aspects, the Bible describes a period of intense tribulation, a time of unprecedented suffering known as the Great Tribulation. In Matthew 24, 21, 22, Jesus warns that there will be times of great despair, the likes of which have not been seen since the creation of the world. This prophecy is accompanied by descriptions of natural disasters, global conflicts, and crises of all kinds. The apocalyptic predictions suggest that as power is concentrated in new global alliances and structures, the entire world will face a series of catastrophic events that will test our ability to resist. It is a warning not to rely solely on earthly authorities, but to seek divine guidance in times of uncertainty and chaos. Another aspect concerns the advancement of technology, especially the development of artificial intelligence, AI. According to some interpretations of biblical prophecies, the growing dependence on automated systems, surveillance, and control technologies could represent a manifestation of the divine plan, in which human arrogance and blind trust in technology lead to a global crisis. The Bible warns against over-reliance on man-made innovations, reminding us that true power and security come from God. In Genesis 11:4, the story of the Tower of Babel reminds us that when humans try to elevate themselves to the level of God, the consequences can be disastrous. Similarly, the rapid evolution of AI, if not accompanied by moral and spiritual guidance, could lead to a world where personal freedoms are eroded and control becomes increasingly centralized. Furthermore, biblical prophecies warn that in the end times, traditional power structures will clash with new emerging forces. For example, 2 Thessalonians 2:9-12 speaks of a time when deceitful actions will overwhelm the masses, while Revelation describes ideological and spiritual conflicts that will challenge men's ability to discern truth. These conflicts, fueled by political, economic, and cultural divisions, will lead to a situation of global instability, in which faith will become a fundamental anchor for many. The overall picture that emerges from the prophecies is that of a rapidly changing world, in which old power structures are crumbling and new alliances are emerging. The United States, once a beacon of democracy and financial power, may be in decline, not so much because of external enemies, but because of an internal erosion of moral and spiritual values. Read Daniel and other sacred texts, and you will see that when a nation deviates from its founding principles, its fate is sealed with an inevitable fall. History has already shown us how ancient empires, when they lost their moral course, ended up collapsing. Likewise, the decline of the United States, which may result from the breakdown of biblical values and the loss of historical support for Israel, could mark the beginning of a new world order. This new order could feature a coalition of 10 nations, as described in Revelation 17:12, who will be given temporary authority along with the beast. These 10 nations, thought to emerge from regions once controlled by the Roman Empire, will include territories in the Middle East, North Africa, and Europe. In this scenario, US dominance could disappear, and the centralization of power could lead to a new global economic system based on a single currency and the infamous Mark of the Beast, 666. This economic system, coupled with advanced surveillance technologies and a growing concentration of authority, represents one of the most disturbing challenges for the future of humanity. The implications of all this are enormous. While the prophecies warn of a time of great tribulation, they also offer a message of hope. Despite the chaos and darkness, the return of Jesus and the establishment of his kingdom is the path to redemption and final restoration. The Bible reminds us in Philippians 4:7 not to be anxious, but to present our requests to God, so that the peace that surpasses all understanding may guard our hearts and minds. This peace is our true security in a world of constant instability. In the current context, as we witness an increasing centralization of power, increasingly invasive surveillance, and manipulation of the masses through advanced technologies, it is essential not to lose sight of our faith. The Scriptures invite us not to conform to the patterns of this world, but to be transformed through the renewing of the mind, so that we can understand and follow the perfect will of God. In this time of radical change, our hope cannot rest on temporary authorities or unstable economic systems, but must be rooted in the eternal kingdom of God. Finally, prophecies urge us to remain vigilant. Biblical texts, from Genesis to Revelation, warn us against man's arrogance and remind us that true power does not lie in technological innovations, but in love, forgiveness, and humility. It is an invitation to recognize that even though the world seems to be approaching a time of great tribulation, God has a perfect plan for us. Our mission as believers is to stand firm in our faith, pray for our country and the future of humanity, and seek divine guidance in every decision. In light of all this, the conversation about these events and biblical prophecy is far from over. We are faced with a series of signs that point to global change. The fall of the United States as an economic superpower, the emergence of new international alliances, the advancement of technologies that challenge our concept of control, and the promise of a return of Jesus, who will establish a kingdom of justice and peace. These predictions are not only warnings, but also opportunities to renew our faith and prepare our spirits for the challenges that lie ahead. The future may bring global crises and instability, but it is also a time to remember that amid these uncertainties, God remains our refuge. Our hope, our strength, and our security must come from trusting in Him. It is an invitation not to rely exclusively on human capabilities or technologies, but to seek a balance between scientific progress and spiritual wisdom. If this topic has struck a chord with you, I invite you to reflect and share your thoughts. Write in the comments what you think of these prophecies and whether you believe that current events may be a sign that global destiny is transforming in accordance with ancient predictions. The discussion is open, and every point of view is valuable to better understand the overall picture. Stay tuned for more insights into biblical prophecies, global events, and possible implications for the future of humanity. Subscribe to our channel, like, and share this video to support the spread of this important information. Our knowledge of the past and present can guide us toward a better future if we are willing to listen and prepare spiritually for what is to come. Finally, as the world faces these challenges and humanity prepares for radical change, let us always remember that our hope lies not in earthly authorities or technological innovations, but in God, who alone can provide peace and stability in an ever-changing universe. Let us stand firm in our faith, knowing that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. Romans 8:28. And that, despite the tribulations, the return of Christ will bring the final restoration.